Hi, everyone. I'm sitting in my study in my home tonight, and as I love to do, I'm taking a look at some of my favorite painters. And one of them has been Frans Hals for years. I guess for more than 30 years, I've been totally enamored by his work. Another beautiful Hals here, and uh, the, we'll talk about it in just a minute with the hands, but the beauty of the bend of that wrist that is striking the chords is really fabulous. Nice simplification of the forms in the face. Again, what Halls is so, to me, so known for is the ability to capture these expressions, and the sitters are so alive, and this guy's just so playful. And if you look again at the way he handles those buttons, you see Sargent right away, right there. I mean, you can see how influenced Sargent was by him, because even my teacher, Ray Kinsler, I see him in that button there, in the way that that's simplified and handled. The hair the same way, or even the hat. But boy, the hand that is on to where he's pressing down to create the notes. Look at the difference in the position of that hand, and how well he has studied that, and how carefully he's captured that. But there are some strokes there, bold strokes in those fingers, that are very much characteristic of John Singer Sargent, or any number of other paintings, William Merritt Chase, Robert Henry, etc., which we can see here more in just a moment. But you can really sense that brushiness that inspired later painters, that was not characteristic of a lot of the painters of the time. I mean, Frans Hals was very different than a lot of the artists of his period. Here's a marvelous, look at that, marvelous full figure painting. And the lean of the chair is so fun. And you just sense that he's just about to tumble over any second. Got a little extra cushion underneath in there too. I'm sure that Hals had this gentleman in the studio. I think that might even be the model stand to the right. And probably the man came in and sat down and leaned back, and Hals said, "There's my picture, my portrait." Look at the area underneath the boot that is nearest the model stand. I'm calling it a model stand. That's what it seems to be. From that knee down into the cast shadow off of that, it's all basically sort of swims into one shape. If you look at a later illustrator like J.C. Leyendecker, there's a lot of Leyendecker that you pick up in that area around the shadow and the boot. I'm sure Leyendecker must have been a fan of Frans Hals, because Leyendecker clothing is totally and completely related to the fabric and the way that hand is handled here in this painting, and in lots of Frans Hals paintings. But do yourself a favor sometime and pull up some Frans Hals, and then pull up some J.C. Leyendecker, and see how much he's influenced Leyendecker and other illustrators, about 300 years later. But another just fantastic example of his bold brush, his strong draftsmanship, and what I think we can come back to again and again is the possibility that he worked in some washes before he applied the heavier paint. I sense that not only through the shadows underneath the boot and the knee, and down underneath the model stand on the floor around the chair leg, but you see bits and pieces of that peeking through the blouse, the shirt that he's wearing there, or coat, whatever you would call it. And you can see it right around the sort of waist area, just above the thigh, where there's some of that sort of stain coming through. So I think he worked with a pretty slick surface, washed in, and then began to build up the color as he moved towards the lights.